What's up, everybody? We're back, episode 4 of the Platform podcast, and as you can see today, we have a guest.
Yeah, this is something I've been looking forward to because as much as I enjoy our conversations, I think adding other people to the conversation makes it way more interesting.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited to have Allie.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. So because we're technically in lockdown and we can't have guests, but because Allie is family, we decided it was safe for her to be here. She got back from Ottawa, did her 14 days isolation, which is why she wasn't in episode 3.
Is this day 1 out of isolation?
Yeah, this is my first day out of isolation, so this is like my entrance into the world.
Wow. That's really exciting.
Oh, yeah. Not overstimulating at all, you know, it's cool.
Yeah, straight into podcast, having to talk about life. So, Awesome. Thanks for being here. We're excited that you're here. I'm excited about the stuff that you're going to talk about because I know you and I know your story and stories. And so, yeah, I'm super pumped on this.
Feels a little bit like nepotism, but it's all good.
All right. So, Rollie, where should we start?
Well, I suppose, who are you?
Who am I? That's a really good question that I don't know yet. Just kidding. So my name's Allie. I am Steve Hildebrand's daughter. That's how I'm known, actually. That's how Portage knows me. So funny story to just kick it off. In high school, one time I was just hanging out in the hallways, you know, as you do, and this person walks up. I'm not going to name names. But this person walks up and is like, yo, everybody, you know who this is? This is Steve Hildebrand's daughter. Steve's my homie. And I was just like, yeah, my dad's cooler than me. It's all good.
It's more popular than you in high school.
Exactly. More well-known. Yeah, so I...
Just going back to that story, I'm curious, do we want to out the person that did that?
We can.
I've been thinking about this. I'm just wondering if
it's
we
a good
want to out them.
question.
Do you know who it is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I want to know who it is. I think everyone else does now,
Everybody
too.
wants to know. I think, yeah, I'm guessing the person listening that I don't know if they would even remember that they did this or not.
Probably not.
No.
Probably. It was definitely more of a milestone for me and my identity than this person and theirs.
Exactly, yeah. So we won't out Jaden at this time.
Okay. It was Jaden. I love it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that was a great moment. Just put me in my place, you know. But yeah, other than that, do you want my age? I don't know.
That's up to you. I wasn't asking for it.
I guess currently I am in my 4th year at Carleton University studying psychology. Other than that, I really don't have any identifying factors. I live in Ottawa most of the time, but yeah, I'm here for Christmas. It's a blast.
What a great story to say that I'm cooler. I was cooler in Allie's high school than she was.
Yeah.
This is a great guest. We need more guests like this.
I don't know if that speaks more about you or me, but I guess that's up for interpretation.
Any future guest, just remember to mention how cool I was. And we're going to be good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's actually how I got to be on the podcast, is I was paid, actually, to say that Steve was cool, and that's why they let me on.
That was not supposed to come out.
Who paid you?
So just so you know, if you say Steve is cool, you'll get paid. So there you go.
Not sure what you're getting paid with.
Yeah. Maybe don't make any promises.
So that was high school.
Mm-hmm.
Take us back to your earliest skateboard memory, because I'm trying to think. So I started getting involved, or my YFC job with skateboarding started in, I want to say, around 2000, somewhere around there is where it really became part of my my job description. And so you would have been just a few years old at that time. So as far as you know, skateboarding would have been part of my job all your life. And so with that in mind, what is your earliest kind of maybe memory or idea around it?
Yeah, probably my first memory would be Campbell's soup. I was rather small, but I guess when I was trying to think about this, when you were kind of giving me some prompts earlier, I was thinking, and the thing that came back to me the most was the fact that I just wanted to work in the shop so bad. There was like this little shop, and they had a bunch of, or Dad had a lot of products in there already, and I just remember like kind of looking at it and being like, maybe he'll let me sell these things. I don't know why, but
And
when
how
you're
old would you have been?
like probably like 3 or 4, like not very old, maybe not even, maybe even younger.
Yeah, it depends at what time, because we were in there for almost 5 years. And so depending on which point that was, like if that would have been at the beginning or not.
It probably would have been closer to the end.
Yeah, so you would have been, what, 7 or 8 by the time we were out of there?
Yeah.
Probably.
Potentially, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I remember Allie coming there, coming to the Campbell Soup skate park, and like sliding down the ramps, maybe.
Yeah,
and
probably.
Like, or just sitting on a skateboard and rolling down the real mellow banks. And yeah, because Nico would have as well once, like later on, not right when we opened, but later on he would have been there too. But but I don't remember a lot of Allie being there at that time. Like you would have been really small then, so for a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot of the Campbell Soup building. I do remember that there was like a concert of some sort.
Oh, I've heard
there.
about this concert. Yeah.
Yeah,
right, the outdoor
vague
one?
the outdoor one.
Yeah.
Like vague memories. They're not super clear, but
That's speaking of that concert, I found the footage from Third Degree Burn, which is some of our buddies that were in a band, and they played in that concert. So maybe we'll have to throw that up somewhere for people to see that.
Oh, that'd be cool. And so it was a concert and a contest then, right? Or was it just the concert?
I don't remember there being a contest. I know there was skating in between bands because we had probably 4 or 5 bands play that day.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like start in the afternoon and it went right till night. And we had, I'm trying to think who headlined it. Was it the Rippers probably? Maybe the Rippers or undecided.
These were all
bands
local bands?
The earlier ones were local, and then that band was from Winnipeg.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was that was a pretty good event. But yeah, it's interesting you remember that.
Yeah, not super well, but
yeah,
a little bit.
And then we have pictures from you on the platform as well, which would be the same era.
Yeah. I think I remember the platform more, just because it was there longer than Campbell Soup, but mostly just I remember us kind of always like I don't know if it was on weekends or whatever, but like our whole family it was a family outing to go watch skateboarding.
Bring Slurpees.
Yeah, you got to bring that huge cup.
Oh yeah,
the, like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you got to bring
and
that.
have like the tire thing on the bottom of it.
Yeah. You fill it up with Coke Slurpee, obviously.
Yeah, duh.
And bring it to the platform, and we would hang out there, and I would roll around a bit. We kind of always were on like the lower level where there weren't as many things, or we were kind of out of the way. But I remember riding around. I think the skateboard that I was riding around on still exists in the platform. I think people still use it.
Yeah.
It's like probably a 7.5, like Reynolds board. It's just tiny.
Maybe a 7.4.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe even smaller.
Maybe we should grab it and. All right, so let's see this board that you used when you were little that we still have.
Look at this beauty. I can tell you it looked like this when I used it because it was used when I got it.
Yeah, we got that from Bocce, actually. Yeah, he gave it to us. But yeah, a little tiny board for the kids to use.
Yeah.
Worked great.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's very short too, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 So.
Nice Baker Reynolds board.
Yeah.
I remember
Awesome.
using that board because at that time the shop was open already, and so when I was hanging out there, I would always see like the other boards. So I was like, Dad, can I get like some of these other boards? And he was like, you don't skate enough. Here's this used board.
You don't skate enough.
You have to, like, we had a board for her.
Yeah.
And the idea was, if she's not using it, why would I replace the deck on it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did
So
that. I did
that's
that
in my
same
defense.
same thing with my little brother. I found parts on top of a church. Someone just chucked their old board on top of a church, and I was somehow up there or something, and I just threw together like a bunch of old things. He never uses it, so I'm glad I never bought him a new board because
Right.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that's wise
Yeah.
that he didn't buy you a new board.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was the right idea. But my small brain was like, but these ones are so nice on the wall.
Yeah, which is what every kid says when they go to the skate shop.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, and it's hard when you're a little kid because, as you can see with this one, when you're that little, you don't break them.
Yeah.
And yet, like, you see the other guys always replacing them, getting new ones because they're breaking them, but you're too little, you can't actually break a board, but you want to replace them too.
Yeah.
That's a horrible place to be.
Yeah, even now, like, I don't do big enough tricks to be breaking boards like every couple months kind of thing. And right now I'm like been skating this board for a bit, and I'm like, I just want it to break already so I can get a new one.
Right. Yeah, which is what Allie was thinking with the Reynolds board.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't actually have a board now, so obviously it was the right decision that I didn't get a new one.
Right. So the platform. Any other thoughts from the platform?
I can't really think of like anything specific from the platform. I don't know if you have any specific that would like jog my memory, but
I'm curious what your thoughts are on like the dudes that were there at the time, because I remember like the guys always being pretty hyped on you guys being around. And so maybe you don't remember that as much as I do, so maybe that's not as much of a thing.
I don't remember that as much at the platform, to be honest. I kind of more remember keeping to myself, but I do remember when we had like the half pipe in our basement. Then I remember all the guys coming over. So there's like 15 teenagers in our basement, as one does on a regular. You know, when you're like 5 years old, you
Just skating around.
Yeah, you just have 15 teenagers in your
for
basement.
sure.
You know, it's a normal occurrence. But I remember kind of like waddling down with this beautiful board here, and one of the guys would like lean over and be like, "Hey, Allie, are you wanting to try?" And I'd be like, "Yes." And so then they'd be like, "Everybody stop." And so then everyone would stop skating, and then they would like get me up on the top. And I'd be like trying to drop in, and I don't know if I ever successfully dropped in, but they would always stop everything they were doing, and I would stand up on there and just like try to drop in, and sometimes I would chicken out, and they would always like be like, it's okay, and then they would continue, and then like 10 minutes later they'd be like, do you want to try again? I'd be like, okay, and so then they would all stop again, and it just it was pretty awesome. Being a kid and having a bunch of teenage boys like being like, do you want to be in this too? Like, okay.
One of the things I remember from you skating that little mini in the basement was you'd come down there and you'd watch all these older guys skate it, and then afterwards, then you would get on. Like right at the beginning, I think you were maybe a little more shy. And so you would just watch them, and you'd just like be sitting there watching them, and then when they'd leave, then you jump on your board and like pump. And I remember thinking like, how does she know how to pump on the mini? Like, because lots of kids, you're trying to teach them, trying to explain how to pump.
Yeah.
And she'd get on there, and I'd see her pumping, and she'd like be getting higher and higher, and I remember being like, how did you know how to do that? And well, I watched the guys.
Yeah.
And like, so just sitting there, just observing and picking it up. I was always impressed with that.
Wow. That is impressive. Because I've tried to teach kids how to pump, and that's one of the hardest things to teach somebody for some weird reason.
Right.
It's very simple once you understand it, but to teach somebody, it's like,
and somehow she picked it up just by watching the other guys do it. So
are you like that now? Do you like watch, like with anything? Can you just watch it and then?
I don't know. I don't know if I've tried anything new lately.
Oh.
So
like those, like, have you ever been to one of those like paint nights or whatever?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Because that'd be probably one of the best ways to see if you're still.
Yeah. Although I picked up macrame this summer. This is a very riveting. It's like knotting. And so I basically just watched people do that and then did it myself. I guess that's...
It's knotting?
Yeah.
You just tie knots or what?
You just... Yeah.
You're like a Boy Scout now or what?
Yeah, I am a Boy Scout. I actually started my own troop. No. It's like plant hangers and stuff. It's
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I guess that would fall into that category. But other than that, I haven't really tried anything new.
Cool.
Not any skateboarding. Although, I guess, like, I don't know. I did a shove it one time over the summer.
More than one time, I think.
Quite a few.
Oh, okay. Well, I did multiple shove it, so I'm basically a pro now.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about the shop days when we were running the skate shop. And you were a little bit older then than you would have been at Campbell Soup days and platform days. So talk about that. What kind of memories do you have from the shop?
Yeah. I will start by saying I think that, like, I was kind of getting to the age where I was more impressionable by my peers, and so none of the people I knew skateboarded. And so I think I kind of like, this was kind of the stage where I kind of like stopped participating as much, I guess. But that being said, we did spend a lot of time at the shop. And so I remember like hanging out with guys and stuff and working at the shop and getting paid in clothes. That was pretty amazing. I wanted to work there so bad, because I had a friend at school who worked at her parents' business. It's like, my dad has a business. I could work there too.
And of course, you still had those thoughts from the old Campbell Soup shop where, I could sell this stuff.
Yeah, apparently I'm just really into retail for some reason as a child. I'm just so into retail. And so I remember like learning the system of like checking people out and being able to scan and stuff. So exciting. So exciting.
Sounds like it.
Oh yeah. It was a blast. I was the janitor as well. So fun. Cleaned the shop. It's not the nicest place to clean, I will let you know.
Child labor.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Perfect.
Wasn't even getting paid, got paid in clothes.
Yeah.
So,
That's all anybody got paid from that shop.
That's true.
There was nobody actually getting paid money from that shop.
It was all good. I like the clothes, so. But yeah, I think from that era, like Nico spent a lot more time with the guys of that era, I think, than I did. Just because, like middle school.
What year would have this been?
Like it closed in 2010, right?
Yeah, 2010, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 2005 to 2010, around there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like once the Campbell Soup shut down, then the shop started?
Yeah, like when the Campbell Soup was shut down, YFC shut that down, and then the scene was just kind of dying in Portage. And so we were like, how are we going to keep the scene alive? And we just thought having a shop where guys could come and hang out and connect with one another, network. And the idea was having a place where guys could come and meet up with each other and go and skate. And so what kind of place will attract guys to come to meet up so that they can go and skate? Well, the best idea I could come up with was a shop. And so that's why we started the shop, was for that reason. So
And it was a good place. Like, people hung out there all the time. There was always someone hanging out whenever, like, we were there, and because you had the Xbox or whatever, and it was a cool place to be a part of, I think, even if I was kind of on the outside looking in, just being not part of the skate crowd necessarily, kind of having my dad as the end, but it was a really cool atmosphere, and I liked it a lot. I always wished I was in high school because all of the kids would go there for lunch, and so I would always wish that I could be in high school and you know, I just wanted to be older, essentially.
Yeah, I remember when you did get to high school, and I missed the idea. Like, I kind of was sad that, like, we don't have the shop anymore. It would have been fun to still have the shop when my kids were in high school, that they could come hang out there too. They probably wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been cool for them and their friends, but...
Well, I don't know. You were cooler than me in high school, so maybe I would have been cooler if I could have gone to the shop for lunch. I don't know.
Everybody would come with Allie, but just to see you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the in now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that that would bring us now to current time. Unless you have other things that you remembered along the way that you need to bring up.
I don't know names, but I did remember that there was a couple girls who always hung around the shop, and they actually really influenced me. Obviously, I don't skateboard, which is unfortunate for everyone, but I do remember like seeing them there and seeing them comfortable in the shop, like kind of influenced me to kind of like step out of my own comfort zone, I guess.
Oh, interesting.
Just not in the same community, I guess. But I do remember like looking at them and seeing how comfortable they were, kind of like not doing the stereotypical girl things necessarily. Kind of like really influenced me as a child.
Okay.
So that was one thing that I remember.
So you don't remember their names? Like it would have been Danny Camo.
It might have been Danny Camo.
Maybe Pam Martin or Jessica White.
You know what? That name came back to me as well, Jessica White.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know these people now, but
right. Yeah. I always felt bad for the girls that hung out there because there were so many dudes, and it was kind of overrun with them, and they weren't always careful about the way they acted in front of the girls. So it wasn't as inviting a place for the girls as what I wished it could have been, just with the way it was back then. And I think, you know, you talk to girl skateboarders now, I think they still struggle with some of that stuff. But at the same time, we did have some girls that were able to overcome that and be part of the scene. And I always had tons of respect as well for those girls. And I think, you know, at some time we're going to have them on here too, but it's cool to hear. I think it would be cool for them to hear too that, I had influence on this little girl that was around the shop. And so that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. That's great.
Yeah. That's sweet.
Speaking of influence, this summer, you got to be part of skate camp with us. Thanks to Serb, you were working for Justin.
Yeah.
And so because you were working for Justin, you had time to come volunteer with skate camp. And because we had a lot of girls at skate camp, it was perfect. So we had lots of girls. And so just like because Rollie and I were running skate camp, and as much as we're happy to hang out with the girls too, we're two older dudes, and it can be a little bit awkward for the younger girls. And so having you there was awesome. We really appreciated your involvement. And talk about what that was like for you to be part of skate camp.
It was really cool for me because because I had moved away, I kind of had stepped away from the skateboarding community for like years, I guess. And so to be able to give them this opportunity, and while it's like new kids or whatever, but even just hanging out with you guys, to kind of step back into that community, it was a really cool experience, and I actually really enjoyed it. I had a blast doing the skate camp with all the different places, and kind of making some relationships with some of the kids as well was super fun. And even just trying to skateboard was also a blast for me. Just like going back to the basics and trying to learn like an ollie and a shove it was a lot of fun. It was kind of the highlight of my summer.
Yeah, I think like we've talked about this before, this idea that you're welcome no matter what level you are, right?
Right.
And I would hope that you felt that at skate camp. But not only that, I think it was disarming to the skaters that were coming to learn, to have somebody that like an older person that was kind of learning with them.
Yeah.
Is not a bad thing either. Like I think that helps it. Oh, like she's learning with us. It's not like she's this pro that's got it all down and it's easy for her,
Yeah,
right?
like me and Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And so
was
to
implied.
watch one of the people that are working with them struggle with it as well,
Yeah.
it kind of gives you permission to struggle, right? So I think that was encouraging for the kids to have you there and learning with them. And even that idea, which we've talked about before, is that idea that we celebrate all levels. And so it was fun to watch the kids celebrate when Allie would land a trick and when each other would land a trick and vice versa, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I did land some tricks, so that was pretty awesome as well.
Now you're going to take it to Ottawa?
Oh, yeah. I
Take
definitely
the
don't have a
streets?
board, but will be a pro in Ottawa, so you can look me up there.
Yeah.
You could always take the Reynolds board with you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah. What else with skate camp? Was there anything else that?
I think like one of the cool things was the different locations that we were able to go to. Like the first week we were in Dakota Plains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in Dakota Plains, and so it was really cool to like. I had never been to Dakota Plains before, and I've
kinda
lived
middle
here
of
my
nowhere.
whole life. Yeah, and so it was really cool to go out into different communities and be able to skate with them and just build relationship with them, and then having some of those kids come to Portage for the third week, was it? It was really cool to like kind of build those relationships, and it was a great experience, and also learning on the different ramps, even if it was the crappy portable ramps.
Yeah. I'm curious if you got any like funny stories of about Rollie during skate camp.
Do I have? Are you thinking about something specific that I forgot?
No,
I'm
not
trying
necessarily,
to
but I'm
think.
sure-
I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah, what was happening?
I'm pretty sure that you spend enough time laughing at us during skate camp that there's got to be something that was funny enough to share.
To share with the world.
The whole world,
The
yeah.
whole world.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm really drawing a blank, guys.
That's okay.
That's a relief.
Maybe it'll come back to me later. I'll just be like, I remember this one time, but
Right.
no.
Yeah, just interrupt us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll just scream into the mic.
Because I feel like there was a lot of like laughing at us, not with us,
Yeah.
but at us during skate
Whoa,
camp.
throwing me under the bus now.
Well, there's that one photo we'll have to throw it up of we're playing what's that called, limbo, but you're like on your board and there's Steve going under the bar and I'm like holding it, just looking at him.
That is a pretty good
I
picture.
love that picture.
And because I'm so flexible,
Oh, yeah.
it's quite the shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the season of your life where you lived in Costa Rica, because I was doing skate programming down there, and so we all moved down for almost a year.
Yeah.
And yeah, so skateboarding, like my involvement in skateboarding had a pretty big impact on your life, but even more so with that, little season because it pulled you out of your friendship circles and out of your home and plopped you into a country where you didn't know the language. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I will say I've been milking this experience for essays ever since. We were there for 10 months and I was like, every time anyone was like, what's something interesting that's happened to you? I was like, I lived in Costa Rica for 10 months. Beat that. No, but it was a really cool experience. I actually stopped. We went to a lot of skateboard events while we were there that I remember. I was a little bit older at the time, so my memory's a little bit better. So anyways, one of the main memories that I have is of all the events that we went to in Costa Rica. One being this downhill competition that we went to, and I just remember there being so many people just lining the sides of the road, and there being like hay bales and just these people like with their hands going down these, obviously. But yeah, and it was just really cool to see the community and be able to experience that. I don't know if our whole family went to that competition. I want to say it was just us.
I think so, yeah, and we didn't all go,
no. So it was really cool then to kind of get to see what you were doing, because we didn't see a whole lot of what you did.
Right.
But when we went to these events, we got to see a little bit of what you were actually doing. Another event that comes to mind is like a competition that we went to, and it was like held on basketball courts. So like it wasn't even a skate park. It was like a basketball court, and I just distinctly remember like the winner getting a board. I don't know why that is a very specific memory for me, but apparently that mattered. But it was really cool to see how, even though we were in a whole different country with a different language, like you could still understand what was going on, and like the community is the same, even if it's in a different language and happening somewhere else. And obviously, like, I'm kind of an outsider looking in, but just my observations, it was a very similar community, and super accepting, and people of all ages, and it was really cool to see, and it's a really cool community to kind of be able to have this glimpse into, even if I'm not completely a part of it.
Yeah, well, I think that's really cool that you notice something like that, like being someone that isn't necessarily in skateboard culture or whatever. I mean, you've been around it, but it's not like you're in this like core, right? But you still notice like how inclusive and everything it is, and that sounds really cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if you would have noticed it as much. For myself, I noticed that in Costa Rica was way more female participation than there is here. Like I know going to the different events and stuff, there just seemed to be a lot more girls that were involved, which I was always super stoked on, that they were maybe a little bit better included there than they have been here. So yeah, and yeah, there's some really good girls that can skate really well there. So yeah,
sweet.
I don't know if the only other skateboarding memory from Costa Rica that comes to mind is the park that we went to in Puerto Viejo, where it was these American people who came and headed up this skateboard kind of off the beaten path a little bit. I remember we had to like go through the forest to get there. I think.
Is it like a DIY or what?
No, it was actually a wooden park under a roof. It was called Concrete Jungle, which I'm not sure why it was called Concrete Jungle when it was a wood.
It was wood park.
But that was the name of it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a nice little skate park that they were running, and it was basically like you could see the beach, and that was on the Caribbean side. So the Caribbean Ocean was like you could see it while you were skating, which was pretty sweet.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and it was super warm there. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, the humidity there was like
being right beside the water or what?
Yeah, I guess so. And it's really tropical there. And so just just thinking about skateboarding, the sweat was just pouring off of you.
Yeah. But it was a good sweat probably.
Oh yeah.
Not like here, it just like.
Although Jeremy, who was running the park at the time, I remember he's from Texas, and I remember he'd come.
I get to preface that.
He'd come to the city where we were working, which was up at higher elevation, so it wasn't nearly as hot. So he would come to the city, and it was like it would be probably like 8 to 9 degrees cooler in the city than it was at Puerto Viejo.
Interesting.
And he would be excited about being able to wear pants because like he lived in Puerto Viejo, so you never wore pants. And you wore shorts.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I
Just
figured.
walk around with nothing.
I figured, yeah.
And he talked about like running the skate park, how you would like when he first got there and was running the skate park, he would go home at lunch to change because his clothes were soaked right through. But then he realized that he was doing way too much laundry by doing that. Because then he'd get back, and in an hour he'd be soaked right through again. So he just like, whatever, I guess I just got to wear wet clothes all day. So yeah.
Would everybody skate in shorts or what?
Yeah, a lot of guys there, like it was a real surf community. And so there was a real surf style with the skateboarding. And a lot of those guys were just wearing board shorts while they skated. And some of them even like weren't even wearing shoes. Like they were just barefoot. Yeah. And they just like cruise around or whatever. Yeah. So,
Cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. That's an uncomfortable feeling. I love being barefoot and in shorts, but I can't skate in either.
Right.
Yeah. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So sorry, we kind of hijacked
that's
story. But
That's fine. I don't know if I have much else to add, but I do remember kind of like sitting and watching. I do a lot of watching skateboarding. I don't do a lot of participating, but I have done a lot of watching skateboarding in my day. I remember we didn't do a lot of family outings in Costa Rica just because like only my dad could drive. And so if he was out, and we only had one car. But when we got to go with him to these, it was always everyone would go because we didn't go out very much. We're kind of a little bit of a homeschool family in that time, and that's okay because it only lasted 10 months, so it didn't have a lasting impact on myself as a person.
Because we know what that can do. Just kidding.
But yeah, it was always a family outing in Costa Rica, and so it was always exciting because, as previously mentioned, we never left the house. And so, but I, especially at the Puerto Viejo Park, I remember, again, like just lots of different people skating there and us just kind of watching. And it was just always a blast.
Well,
thank you so much for joining us today. It was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
We need to have guests more often.
I know.
This is a blast.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be your guinea pig.
Yeah. You don't have to hear our voices as much.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with your guys' voices.
So yeah, thanks for listening and for being part of our podcast.
Yeah.
And who do we need to mention at the end today?
I think we have 2 patrons at this day.
Yeah, we've got. I've heard that some people are having trouble getting on.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what that is, but
if you're having trouble, then you can contact us.
Yeah, we'll help you.
Instagram.
We'll help you get on.
Try to help you out.
Yeah.
We're not super familiar with Patreon right now, so
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
But yeah, and like we mentioned last time, just remember that the Patreon is a good opportunity to support not only the podcast but skateboarding here in general, because we do have the skate park and giving kids opportunity to skate here in the wintertime once we're out of lockdown.
Yes.
That money helps go towards that. And so at the same time, we are just happy you joined us, whether you're a patron or not.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have you here, and we love your comments on YouTube. Comment below. And otherwise, you can DM us or what?
Yeah.
Rate us.
Yeah.
Rate us on your podcast.
Give us a review.
Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do, because that's all the podcasts I listen to. They say to rate them so that they, I guess, get higher up on the algorithm.
I have no idea.
I can't imagine we'll get very high on the algorithm anyways. So I'm not sure about the rating, but I guess we do leave a review.
We do enjoy hearing from you, and I guess that's just feedback. one way to. So if you, give us a rating and a review, then we know how you're feeling about us.
Yeah. So figure out a way to send feedback our way, and we're happy to hear it, and it can make it better, I guess, if we actually listen to the feedback.
Yeah. I guess so.
That's the key word. You actually have to listen to the feedback. Or we just
do our own thing.
Or that.
Yeah. So give us feedback and see if we actually listen.
It's a little bit of a gamble.
It's a gamble. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And